Moving to thing number four, Gary, we're talking Tesla, ticker TSLA. Tesla stock has had a big run up over the last week or so. Tesla, thing number four, Gary, why Tesla is soaring.
Yeah, so ahead of President Trump's election win last month, Tesla stock was trading right around like the 230, 240, $250 level per share. And when we did this chart last week, it was right around $480. That run up has allowed Elon Musk to reclaim his title as the richest man in the world with a net worth now of approximately $400 billion. Just a reminder, you could be the richest man in the world just a few years ago with a net worth of 200 billion. So things are going pretty well for him. But the thing that we're finding very interesting about this is this huge run up in Tesla stock has happened at the same time the US government is talking about eliminating subsidies on electric vehicles. Now, I actually think that's a good thing. If people want to buy the car you want, the government shouldn't be trying to influence people and saying, if you buy the car we want you to have, we'll give you money. On top of that, some of those subsidies, I think they were in like the $7,500 range. I remember at some point, I think there were like $9,000 subsidies. I'm not sure on that, but I know there were $7,500 subsidies. And, it's kind of obnoxious for people who are buying a $90,000 new car to get a $7,500 taxpayer gift from that, while the guy who's making $50,000, $60,000 a year maybe driving to work in a $7,000 car. So those subsidies were always a bad idea. They always distorted the market, and it shouldn't have happened. But the real question here, which I'm assuming you're going to ask, Rob, is wait a minute. If the government is cutting subsidies to electric vehicle buyers, why would Tesla stock be going up? Is that what you were going to ask?
Well, I was going to ask that, but I'll have another follow-up question ready for you to rock and roll. So why don't
All
you take
right,
that one, Gary?
we're on it. And the reason is because Tesla was very effective in getting to market with product that people wanted faster than everybody else and taking advantage of those subsidies and positioning themselves as the world's leading EV maker, certainly the leading EV maker in the United States. And now Tesla's established themselves. They're making millions of cars and doing extremely well. It's the other automakers, Ford, Rivian, General Motors, where they're losing a fortune on their EVs and they really need those subsidies to make this work. So there's long been a really unfortunate, I want to say tradition, an unfortunate practice between the government and companies that are leading their industries, which is the government will regulate those industries at the request of the market leader. And that sounds a little bit crazy, except it's really about knocking out the competition. So if we look at examples from other industries, Amazon.com was actually one of the companies leading the charge to say, we want tax paid on internet sales. Now, that seems kind of crazy. If you're Amazon and you have the opportunity to sell at a discount to Walmart or Costco or any bricks and mortar retailer, to Best Buy, not having your customers have to pay sales tax is a huge advantage. So why did they do it? The reason they did it is because sales tax is complicated. You have 50 different states with 50 different rates, but a lot of cities have different sales tax levels, and sometimes it matters where the seller is, where the distribution is, where the buyer is, and it's very complicated. So if you're Amazon and you're the market leader and you have the money to pay for the software to figure out how much to charge people, you say, yeah, let's just make this business hard for everybody. We can absorb the
Yeah.
additional difficulty. We saw the same thing also with banks. When you see the US government regulating banks with a heavy hand, guess what? Those regulations make the banks less profitable, but the banks want those regulations. And the reason is it prevents smaller banks from becoming big banks. They want to make things more difficult. That's where Tesla is right now. They have established themselves. They are the market leader. They're the really, I don't know that anybody else in the country is making money selling electric vehicles. And so what Tesla is saying is, yeah, no, just get rid of the government subsidies. Now, would Tesla love their customers to get a $7,500 discount? Of course they would. But what they really want is to not have competition. They'll say, yeah, we'll take the hit of a tougher competitive environment as long as Ford and Rivian and General Motors and the other automakers don't have any advantages either. We'll compete on a more difficult level playing field because it's going to make things much harder for them. We can handle it. And so, listen, I can't argue, even though it was self-serving, I can't argue with Elon Musk on this. The guy who is going to be heading up with Vivek, the Department of Government Efficiency, Doge, is saying, let's cut government subsidies. So he's right on it. And the fact that, he might be self-interested on it doesn't change the fact that it is the right move. And so, we support it.
Here, I know Tesla is not a current part of the DKR portfolio. Not sure that it ever has been in the past, but you correct me if I'm wrong there. Does this change your outlook position on Tesla from an investment standpoint?
No, it doesn't. Look, it's a phenomenal company to the extent that, like Apple, they make product that people really love. Right? People who own Apple products will not stop talking about how much they love their iPhone or their Mac or whatever. Like it's a religion to them. And Tesla enthusiasts are very much the same. And so, good for them. That's amazing they've been able to do that. But the company has had, there have been questions about their accounting in the past. I think a lot of that's gotten cleaned up. There are also questions about the valuation. It's not a large automaker, but you would see all of these statistics like, Tesla was valued at a stock price that, was larger than a whole bunch of other automakers combined. I think a lot of that right now is because people are viewing them as an AI play related to, supercomputers, artificial intelligence, self-driving. And the truth is, I don't know. There's no question they have the resources, they have the intellectual horsepower. Elon Musk is phenomenal in these areas. He's done a great job at a bunch of companies in doing things that people thought were not possible. There's a lot, like there were certain things that Tesla does, their cars do, where their engineer said, we can't do it. And he said, yeah, you're going to figure it out. And they did. It was amazing. We all saw them launch a skyscraper sized rocket out of the earth and then have it come back and get chopsticked into
Mhm.
place. I mean, their engineers can do
Right.
really amazing things, but I don't want to pay that kind of valuation, fingers crossed, that they're going to figure out the AI model or the supercomputer model or be the ones to figure out self-driving. And, one of the things everybody's talked about, and I think with good reason, Tesla self-driving is marketed as FSD, full self-driving. It's not. If I were driving a Tesla, like, would I engage the autopilot at times? If I need to take my eye off the road for a second, yeah, but I sure wouldn't be, sitting in the back seat watching a movie while the car drove itself. So I don't know who's going to win that stuff, and it's just not a bet I want to take. I don't have anything against the company. I know why people own it. They're certainly a technology leader and a market share leader and a hearts and minds leader. They've done incredible things, but that doesn't mean I want to buy the stock.
Makes sense. And yeah, I've been hearing more and more of that conversation of the idea of not just the Tesla car, but the Tesla concept, right? AI, rockets, the whole nine yards, everything that Elon is leading and taking forward.